Good evening. I remember as a child going to the marketplace with Mom. This was back in my hometown in Peru. It was actually normal for the vendors to fix the scales by adding extra fat to the meat or putting lead weights in the balance. But my mom was smarter than they, so she always made sure to examine the balance of the vendors so that she would get the right amount of product that she was paying for. Now remember that in Peru, pretty much everybody is poor. This concept that only rich people are the ones that trample upon the poor is not accurate. To take advantage of others, you just have to be a fallen human. No matter your social condition, you are vulnerable to sin against your brother or your sister. In the first reading, Prophet Amos gives us the context. The context of the reading was the Sabbath. The Sabbath and the liturgical festivals. For those who love to take advantage of other people, the Sabbath was a problem. Because on the Sabbath, you could not open your business. You could not expose the wheat. You could not sell or buy. The Sabbath was a day for no profit. So Prophet Amos, in the name of God, says, "Hear this, you who trample upon the needy and destroy the poor of the land. When will the new moon be over, you ask, that we may sell our grain? And the Sabbath may be over, that we may display the wheat." So these folks could not get rid of the Sabbath fast enough. Instead of rejoicing on a day of rest, a day for worshiping God, instead they grumbled. They complained to the God who made them. There was no room in their hearts and no time in their calendar to give praise to God. In their hearts, the Sabbath was a waste of time that could be used much more effectively to make more bricks, to make more profit. In fact, that was the temptation of the Israelites after they were liberated from the slavery in Egypt. They were used to and comfortable with being slaves. They were so used to make more bricks for Egypt. The Sabbath, ordered by God, instead was an act of resistance. Taking time to honor God, to pray for others, and to rest was not a waste of time, but an opportunity to reorder our priorities as children of God, to slow down our addiction to workaholism, a resistance to make our productivity our identity, because it's not. But no, for fallen humanity, the Sabbath was and it still is a waste of time. So welcome. Right now, in the eyes of the world, you are wasting your time. For fallen humanity, the Sabbath means less time for fallen man to prey upon others. We will diminish the ephah. We will add to the shekel and fix our scales for cheating. We will buy the lowly for silver and the poor for a pair of sandals. Even the refuse of the wheat we will sell. On the Sabbath, they would say. This is a report of the reality of the Israelites at the time of Prophet Amos. But was this reality unique to that prophet's time? By no means. For as long as fallen human beings have been around, we have tried to bypass the obligation and the holiness of the Sabbath. In 1 Timothy, St. Paul teaches us to pray for everyone, to offer prayers of thanksgiving for the church, for civil society, and for the entire world. How did the early Christians do that? How did they fulfill the Sabbath? At Mass, on Sundays. The Christian Sabbath was a day of praise to God and a day of prayer for one another. What about today? Not much different. Only a very small portion of Catholics go to Mass weekend after weekend. Why? Because honoring the Christian Sabbath is irrelevant to them. It's a waste of time. They will rather make more bricks and be slaves to workaholism. But we have done this to ourselves, unfortunately, by promoting a very watered-down version of Catholicism. Bishop Robert Barron uses this expression: we have dumbed down Catholicism, and we have done it for generations. And by doing so, we have indirectly said to our fellow brothers and sisters, Catholics, you know what? Religion is not that important. As long as you love God, you're good. So what happens then on the weekends? They won't show up. They won't show up to church because the church is irrelevant and because the church is a waste of time. For a warm Catholic, for whom Catholicism is a shadow of its doctrine, the Sabbath will be irrelevant. In fact, the Sabbath will be an obstacle to producing more bricks. Enough of dumbing down Catholicism. We are an intelligent religion. We have 2,000 years of history on our side. Saints, theologians, martyrs, we heard today, religious orders. We invented the university system of the modern world, which eventually was hijacked by the secular world. We founded schools. You are a living proof of that. We built cathedrals, monasteries, and places where God is honored. This is our time to reclaim the Christian Sabbath. Jesus was right when he said, you cannot serve two masters. You will love one and despise the other, or you will be devoted to one and not the other. You cannot serve both, God and Mammon. Who the world is serving today? Mammon. That's why the Sabbath is not important for the world. May our humble observance of the Christian Sabbath be a seed of hope for this world that only wants to build more bricks. Because at the end of the day, it is by honoring God and God alone, giving Him the honor that He is due on His Sabbath, that we can truly thrive in this world, and most importantly, in the next. Amen.